It's better than Hood Nazi. Well, also, like, there's still a lot of plugins, so.
Oh, did you post it and don't need me to?
I just posted it in mine.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, hello. You'll have to excuse the flashing lights because they're doing some audio or video checks, and the lights have been blinking. So be aware of that. How's everybody doing? We're getting ready to go. Should be starting at the top of the hour, about 20 minutes from now. So we're just hanging out, talking Malifaux. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. I am exhausted right now because I didn't sleep very much, and I've been doing so much stuff today. It's been nuts. Adepticon is a blast. I want you to know that I hounded Wyrd to allow us to do this, and they very graciously said yes. So I'm glad that everybody else can participate and have a little bit of fun. There was actually not very many tickets available for this event, and that means a lot of people were going to miss out, which is really unfortunate. But hopefully everybody can just tune into this, and it should be up on the channel and for posterity. So good stuff. I don't know what to expect tonight. Can't afford to come out. I know that, you know, I was telling folks earlier, but I used to Shadow Pal. It should stay up. I'm new to streaming on YouTube, so I can't be 100% sure. I'll have to check this when I get home, but I believe this will stay up in the live tab on my channel. If it doesn't, I understand based on a Google search that I can download it later and repost it. So if it doesn't stay in the live tab and you can't watch it raw, I'll download it and repost it so people can watch for sure. But like I was just saying, I used to, you know, before I was doing the channel, and even early on when I was doing the channel, I used to watch other people be at these shows, and I was always so jealous. I wanted to get a little bit more insight into what goes on and kind of see some of the cool stuff, and, you know, the behind closed doors reveals, and very few people actually cover that stuff or post about it. So I wanted to try to fix that and show people. Check in later. Yeah, absolutely. Beta, thanks. I think that's Brandon. If you didn't watch it, check out the video, well, later. Check out the video that posted today earlier. Conversation with Brandon from the team that works on Bigger Hat. They got some cool stuff coming. We had a really interesting conversation about like the history of Bigger Hat and you know, where the project came from and all the work they do behind the scenes so that we can have a cool resource for Malifaux stuff. So go check that out. Show them some love. And the other lives are under the other lives are under the live tab, so people should be able to see this. I don't know if they only stay there for a limited time, but again, I'll look into that when I get home, probably Monday, because I'll be shot on Sunday, and I will double check. And if they're not going to stay, if I can download them and repost them, I will, for sure. So that this is available for people. It's kind of the whole point, you know? Chris, if I'm in your way, just let me know, okay? We are still testing the equipment. I think there was some chance the projector wasn't going to be working, so they're currently trying to make sure that's going to get up and running. I don't really know what to expect out of this. They have told me, and also this was announced a while ago, but they've confirmed that there will be announcements, there will be news here for future things. There is supposed to be some discussion with the developers. There's going to be some some announcements, and then probably also some Q&A. So if people have questions, drop them below, and I'll see if I can answer them, or ask them, I should say. They're still testing lights, so be aware of that. It's going to come on and off. But if you have questions for the developers, they are here. I believe Justin will be the main person kind of doing the talking. He's kind of the lead on 4th edition. I've had him on the channel before. Really good guy. Has some really interesting insight into kind of game design stuff. So if you have nerdy game designer questions that you want to ask, post them and I'll ask him. Don't ask the stereotypical questions like when is Collodi coming back, or when is X thing going to be released, or what's the next release for your X keyword, because they're not going to tell us those questions, so I'm not going to waste a question by asking. But if you do have any good questions for them, let me know. I don't know if any of the other developers are going to be up there. I know Chris is here because he was just in front of me 2 minutes ago. So I don't know if he's participating. I would imagine he would be. He also works on TOS, so I chatted with him a bunch about TOS stuff. I think he might. I don't want to get anyone in trouble, so I don't want to repeat anything that he told me. He didn't really tell me anything like juicy, but we talked a little bit about what's going on with TOS. Obviously, they've already said that there's going to be new stuff for all the existing factions, which is exciting. I'm going to talk to him and see if I can get him to either talk to me here or come on for a video later to talk TOS, because I'm real excited. Yes? Do you want to be on my live stream?
No.
Okay. That's going to probably happen many times. Big poster boards. I'm not sure what you're talking about. There are big banners in here that you can't see because it's dark right now. I would ask how they're going to incorporate storytelling elements into the game again, but hoping they will officially go into that tonight. Yeah, they spoke about it. They mentioned it recently that that's going to be something they're leading into, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's something they talk about here. I want to know about that, so that's a good question. Also, Windark, I think you won the giveaway the other day, a couple weeks ago, so check your mentions on YouTube and see. I think I know who you are. Oh, poster boards. Yeah, we should have had a whiteboard. We'll doodle some stuff on there or print it out ahead of time. That'd be funny. I would like to hear more about the limited models that will be focused towards tournaments. Yeah, I also want to know about that. Mostly how available these will be for smaller areas when we have 4 to 6 players. So in my experience, Wyrd's really good at supporting small, even small events. Like if you reach out to them for prize support, they'll send you stuff, even if you have a 6-person tournament. I don't know how exclusive those fancy models are going to be. It sounded to me like that was going to be more only for official events, but the problem with that is it limits it to the US and it limits it to the places they go. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little broader than that, but I will. I'll see if I can find out some info on that. I don't know if this is the best. We'll see what happens. But if I don't ask that question, I will go bug Wyrd about it and see if I can get back to you about it. If you're on my Discord, stay there because I'll usually report back on there.
Would you say you guys do game-wise? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm curious. That new model is crazy. It's really sick looking. I like it a lot. And the interesting thing is it's got a title. Why? Not sure. So I'll be curious what the deal is with that. I don't know if that's just a flavor thing or if that means something. At one time they had poster boards, a faction synopsis and picture of each master. Wish they made those again if it was great bringing in new players. Poster boards for factions. Huh. Like something you would display at the game store, you mean? Or I'm not sure what you're referring to.
That is a good answer. I think that the fact that it's so scale expressive is really cool. I was hooked. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Gonna move so that I'm not in the way. I don't know how widely this got shared out, so if anybody knows anybody who might be interested in watching this, please share the link with them, because this kind of came together last minute. I thought I wasn't going to be able to stream this until like midday today, so I posted as much as I possibly could, but I had a million other as well, and I suspect more than 17 people would want to watch this, so I'm sure we'll get more people coming in, but if you don't mind, share this around, let people know, because I want more people to see the cool weird things. And we'll hang out a little bit. I think I'm going to probably, when it's over, I'll very likely stick around for a little bit and have a couple other people on. Brandon from the Danger Plan is here, and he said he was interested in coming on and chatting. We'll get his reaction real time. He probably knows half the stuff. He's in the playtest. For anybody who just joined, we're about 8 minutes away from the scheduled start of the event, for what that's worth. I don't know if they're going to start exactly on time. I am currently on the opposite side of the room. You can't really see because they're testing the lights and things are a little crazy, but I'm currently far away from where the screen is. I'm going to try to get closer once it starts. Hopefully they'll let me go up front. How is the audio? I'm hoping it'll be better once everybody shuts up and there's a presentation happening. But any feedback on the audio would be helpful.
I think he's in Orlando, or he just moved a little bit out of Orlando.
I think they're going to start kicking people out soon. Apparently they're going to be pretty strict about the ticketing of this event, which is funny. Sounds good. Appreciate it. Audio is pretty great. Awesome. Apparently the internet just works here, which is great, because at Gen Con it does not. And by internet I mean cell reception. Barely hear the others, just very low background noise. Perfect. That's perfect. I'm gonna keep it like this. I have a fancy microphone, but I think this is probably better. And also I'd have to unplug my charger, and then it'd probably die halfway through the stream, so that'd be bad. No one would like that. The room is filling up. I don't remember how many tickets they had available for this, but there's a lot of people around, which is cool. So here's a problem I encountered yesterday. When I did the Corvus Belli presentation, I started the stream in portrait mode because I was talking to it like this. But you can't turn the screen, because if I turn the screen, the phone just gets mad at me. Ooh, they turn the lights back on. Wow. It doesn't turn to portrait mode. It just says orientation is locked, rotate back. There's no way to unlock the orientation. What I figured out later was that if I shut off the stream and start it again, I can start it in landscape mode. So sound off if you have strong feelings. When they start, would you like me to turn off the stream and restart it in landscape, or should I just do it like this? I thought it was fine, but I'm not watching it. I'm watching it in real life, so it's different. What's up? What's up? Hell yeah. Getting the excitement for some Malifaux announcements. What do people want to see? What are we expecting? Are there any guesses? Are there any wish list items that you're hoping that they're going to talk about here? Do we want to hear about Nia? I know everybody wants to hear about Nia. By everybody, I mean the horrible Bayou people. Jockey Master, yeah. Interruptions cause problems. I agree. I feel like I should keep it this way. I'm sure it'll probably be fine. Also, there will be times where I'm sure I'll just be looking at a person, and then it kind of works better in portrait. I don't know. Seems fine in portrait, yeah. Our Lady Margnia. Honestly, like I'm not a like I rag on the Bayou because it's funny, but I would like to see what's going on with her. Want to hear about Dr. Silas? That's a good shout for sure. Are the new faction books really nice, better than 3rd edition? So, I've looked at PDFs of some of them. I've read 4 of them, the ones that came out like pre-release. I haven't got my hands on any of the physicals. They're here. I considered buying them and like just opening one just to flip through it. The problem is I've already bought so much stuff it's not gonna fit in my luggage, and I don't want to wreck the books on the way home. So I'm probably gonna hold off and order them later. So I can't really speak to that. They've been selling. I've seen people that'll walk over and just buy all 8, which I think is great. That's fantastic. 10 out of 10. But I haven't seen any of them open yet. Maybe I'll ask if I can open one, or maybe I'll just buy one to flip through it. They look similar though, honestly, like from the outside. I don't know obviously what they look like on the inside. We need the second boxes for the new starter box masters. I agree. I don't think that's even in the upcoming, so that might be a little while still, but maybe we won't get a lot of Malifaux information, to be honest. Maybe discussing the upcoming release they advertised playtesting for, but I imagine we'll get more through the Breach TOS. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this was more Malifaux focused, because A, it's their like flagship title, and this is kind of like a big event where people like to announce stuff. People who aren't Wyrd until today. And also we just got a lot of news about both of the other games. So I would guess that won't be the case, but maybe. Yeah, I would love to hear more about TOS. I want to hear some what they got cooking. Ampersand, yeah, I want to see what that's gonna look like. It should, I mean, in theory, it should be soon, but you know, if anybody doesn't know, they've been plagued by logistics problems. You know, it's kind of like unavoidable stuff background that they can't do anything about. So that's probably pushed back their whole release schedule. I'm sure they wanted to have that stuff out by today. You know what I mean? Like, it should have been out already, and because everything got delayed, it just pushed everything back, and it kind of has a domino effect. So I'm sure if they could have had it out already, they would have. But hopefully we'll get some news. That would be nice if they said, like, you know, here's what we're aiming for. The problem with them projecting out as far as they could is the further out it is, the more unknowns there are. And if they say it's going to be out in September and it's not out in September, people are mad. So, you know, you got to look at it from their perspective. They're probably more likely to just not say anything. That's what I would do. You know, until you're like sure, until it's on the boat. You know, it's tricky. I'm just glad to see the cards are out. I know a lot of my locals. I famously have a hard time finding locals to play Malifaux, which is why I started a channel about the lore, so I'd have a reason to talk about it. But a lot of my locals that the interest had been growing, a lot of them are holding off for the cards, because if you're new to the system or new to wargaming, it can be tough, especially a game like Malifaux that's as complicated as it is. You probably want to have, you know, the cards available just to reference. Excuse me for 1 second. No, do we know what the little fence with the crow on it was in the display case, by the way? I didn't recognize it. The little fence with the crow on it. That's from the Terrainscapes. That's we've had that for a while. That's one of the terrain sets came with fences. I think it was the one with the stairs. I could be misremembering that. It should be up on the site though, but you'll see it. It's got a bunch of little fence sections and one has the crow on it. Bigger hat plug for reference. Hell yeah, go check out Bigger Hat. Yeah, Wyrdscape's thing. Yes, I don't remember which one. Yeah, same here. Sorry, I should have caught up with the chat before I answered that question because it was already answered. Thank you. I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna stand. We'll see.
Yeah, what was the question?
Makeshift defenses. Yeah, I think was that the name of the box? Cool. Do you have that referenced on Bigger Hat? Of course you do. This is the room that we're working with. Should be starting any minute now. Sold out, sadly. Oh, I hear that. Frederick. Good morning from Australia. Hey. Shout out to Australia. Con highlights. There's been a lot of cool stuff going on. Nothing like mind-blowing. StarCraft is here, which is cool. Books and cards from Malifaux is here, which is cool. There's a table for TOS here. I don't think they're running any official events, but there's a table, which is promising. That's cool. What else? Corvus Belly has the new Warcrow dwarves out, which are really cool. I like them a lot. I'm not even a dwarf guy. Like, I don't really like dwarves, but they're like really cool dwarves. And they actually showed a bunch of new art for the dwarves last night, and it looks really good. Isn't Australia where the Neverborn live? Yeah. Don't go in the water near Australia if you don't want to encounter Neverborn. It'll be a bad time. Hang tight for 1 second, guys. All right, I think I got a better vantage point. What is that? How does that look? What do you think? Sitting there, rear and center. I think they're still having technical difficulties. Drop Bear should be a Neverborn versatile. I agree. I left my water over there. That's a shame. I'm gonna go get it. All right. Looks like a screen. All right. Sounds great. As advertised. If they didn't kill off Ramos, they wouldn't have these technical difficulties. That's probably true. Would sideways filming be possible? So I did an informal poll a minute ago, and everybody was like, no, we'll do it like this. So I can't change it on the fly. If I turn the phone sideways, it doesn't reorient. So I'd have to drop the stream and restart it, and I think this is probably going to be overall better. So we're going to leave it this way. Now it looks like a face. Oh, no. The horror. Free my man Ramos. You know, I had a player earlier complaining and saying that they dropped out of Malifaux because Ramos died. So, you know, rip. I want more guesses. What do people think we're going to see? Get down in the comments and tell me what you think we're going to see, and also if you have any if you have any wish lists, you know, like what are you hoping to see? What would you like them to talk about? Jump scare warning, very scary. Oh, my face? Well, they're going to turn the lights on at some point, and you're going to have to see my face. Puppet Daddy? Is that Kalodi? I think we're going to see characters, events, and models. Wow. Okay. I think maybe it's starting, but we'll see. I'll be quiet if it is. Chris, are you going to stand there the whole time?
All right, we good?
Okay, thank you.
Kelly? Yes. Okay.
That's what's gonna fix our tilt. Sorry, everybody. Sorry.
Jane, I want my money back.
Go home, you're done.
Good. All right.
Can you shut the doors, please?
I got it.
Thank you.
All right, I am Justin Gibbs. I am one of the designers for Valpo, for Wyrd Games. And this is our Adepticon presentation. We're going to make some exciting announcements. Hope everyone is very excited. We're going to talk a little bit about the other side, a little bit about Valpo, and our plans for the future. One exciting thing that we are announcing is what we are going to do for the next upcoming book for 4th edition. Just out of curiosity, like how many of you, I guess just to plug, because I can't hear you, were involved in the beta test for this most recent book? Yeah. No, all right. Well, great job to all of you. Like, you guys are amazing. Like, they're doing like the heavy lifting behind the scenes, playing the rules when we write them terribly the first time around. So I really appreciate all of them except for Brandon.
Facts.
All right, so we are going to get into that today. All right, we'll go to the next slide. 50-50. All right, so first up, we're going to talk about the other side. I'm sure most people here have heard the big announcement that we recently went to My Mini Factory for 3D printing availability for the other side.
Woo!
We're utilizing their Tribes program. If you're not familiar, that's very similar to a Patreon in setup, although it is not actually Patreon, that's the separate site. So the way that that works is every month there will be a handful of miniatures released. If you're a member of that tribe, it's what's the price on that? Like $10 a month? $10 a month. You'll get all of those the month that they're released, and then after that they go to the store where you can then buy them individually as well. Our goal is to have all of the other side models uploaded within 1 year of the announcement, which just happened. That way everything is available. For the opening, we focused on the allegiance boxes because those are sort of the starter packs for each of the 4 allegiances, as well as a few key models that were long out of print and much needed, such as the breech link, the egg clutch, and also we launched with a brand new model, the Midnight Maw for the Jill Wars, in part because we love the game and we like making models for it, but also in part because we really wanted to feature that we are going to keep making new things for this game, right? And we wanted to hit the ground running with that. So upcoming for this game, we have a new errata currently being play tested. We have a new model for each of the 3 allegiances that hasn't already gotten the report has gotten. And we will also have a new Fields of Glory at some point this year. I'm guessing it'll be a little later in the year because the last Fields of Glory, while it might have been out for a while, hasn't gotten a ton of play, but we will have a new one for you this year. We're very excited about the future. Just really depending on how it does and how people are liking it. And so far, it's been great. But we really hope and expect to be able to keep advancing new releases for that game, not just putting up the old stuff. And not just the one new model per faction. We're talking like big new releases, but I can't get into that, can't make any promises. We gotta see how it does, but so far, so good. Next slide. All right. Valpo 4th edition. Gonna get into the sort of like overview. You can probably see the big exciting news right there at the bottom. The new book
Woo!
That's a major announcement for this talk, but also just want to give kind of an overview of where we're at for 4th edition. Some of you might have noticed the card packs were slightly delayed by Wyrd, mayhem, possibly pirates. No. But they're here now. They're out. We have them. They're on our website. They're here at Adepticon, so those dark times are behind us. We will continue with new keywords being released. There has been a lot of feedback in terms of the order in which we're releasing keywords. In that, we have been releasing new core boxes for each keyword, like one for each keyword, and that left people missing models for that keyword. So going forward, we're going to try to release both core boxes for a keyword before moving on to a new one, as best as we can. Some things are already in the pipeline. Production is sort of just this, it's a moving train, right? It's like you can only change it so much, but we have heard your complaints there. And basically, to summarize, the community feels that if we could only put out 10 new boxes, they'd rather have 5 keywords with 2 boxes each, 2 core boxes each, rather than 10 core boxes from 10 different keywords, right? So we're going to try to focus on concentrating that, but like I said, that will take some time to catch up. There will be 2 new keywords this year, one for Arcanists and one for 10 Thunders. I'm not going to get into them in this talk, really, but they will be out this year. That'll even out the amount of keywords per faction, so everybody has the same number. In September, we will do an errata and FAQ, as we do every year. 4th edition will be no different in that regard. We're also doing main rounds at that time. Basically normal, if you're familiar with 3rd edition, if you're not, usually around September, we do beginning rounds and errata. We are looking at implementing minions to masters, long teas, but we are going to try to bring that to fruition this year. I have a slide talking about that, so I'll get more of that there. And event models. Those are pretty exciting. You all probably saw the alternate Bill Oliver that we have. And those of you that signed up officially for this talk and aren't just sitting in, will get a copy of that. If you are just sitting in, you're perfectly welcome, but we're only able to distribute it to signers. That's fine. I was ready to go. So, state of 4th edition. We're very happy with 4th edition. We feel like we've met our design goals. The average playtime has been reduced. That's a big part. A big complaint about 3rd was just the length of time played. People liked the game, but they didn't need that much game. 4th edition has brought down that playtime we found across events, casual play, and our own personal experience. It is more new player friendly. It's easier to bring a wider variety of keywords to be competitive into the game, and it's easier to learn those keywords and get new players into the game. The starter set was a big part of helping to make it more new player friendly and giving people an avenue to demo those games. And yes, we are working on getting out the second core boxes for both those starter set keywords. We've definitely urging there. We brought new balance to the game, and so far, people are liking it. With any edition change, you're always going to have people who prefer things the way they were. Totally valid opinion, but overall, people are happy with it. But there are still things that we need to do. We need to really focus on acquiring new players, which is much easier now that we have cards and books. We need to focus on making product available. Production has been a bit of a hassle with world events. So, but we're continuing to get that out on shelves and to you. As time goes on, there will just be more boxes available. We need to do a focus on marketing. Now that we have those cards and the books and 4th edition is out, we want to do a big marketing push to get those acquiring new players into the game. And we also want to have some really exciting organized play options, which includes that Minions Masters program and the event models, which I will be speaking about momentarily. All right, Minions to Masters will debut this year. It is being run through XP Network. If you haven't heard about that, That is a sort of a loyalty program that you can sign up with through their app, play games, get points, get rewards. And we have been doing things with them for a few months now, and the Indians Masters will run through them. However, Wyrd will still vet and approve all of the nations, all of the Indians Masters, all of the volunteers. And that's important to say because I have heard complaints, people talking about they needed a store or their store had issues signing up. So I know that that would be a concern if to get into the volunteer program, you needed to like go through your store, have them get onto XP Network. You go through us, and then we get you set up with XP Network. And how that works is you can run your own events, you can still use launch events if you like, or whatever tournament software that you use. You report it through XP Network, you will earn points there, your players will earn points there, through which you can get free prizes. I don't have a list of that right now, but we will come up with that. And also really importantly, the volunteers will have access to a separate back-end store through XP Network that they can use to purchase prize support. So tournament packs, event models, whatever cool things we came out with to help support that program, you can get them there and then use them in your local events. And also this will focus all Wyrd games, not just Malifaux, so also the other side. You could run Vagrant Song events. So it isn't just Malifaux. We do understand that it's largely Malifaux, but especially with the other side viewing, we're really excited to get that program working for all of our games. Kelly, do you have any input there? Did I miss anything?
No, you didn't miss anything, but the biggest thing here is, you've already covered it, this is not, XP does have the ability to do tournament support, but that is not their focus. Their focus really is the worldwide, go there, sign up. They are a loyalty program at heart. We are partnering with them to do the loyalty side of things. And so we will be putting out our announcement here in the coming weeks on how do you come sign up with us, how do you get vetted, what is the process going to be. And so that is going to be announced. Stay tuned for that information. And that will kind of roll through. A store, you don't have to necessarily work with a store. We will also be making information available to stores. If they want to run their own events, they can work with XP themselves. So if you have a store and they are already great at running events and they choose to work with XP and do their own things, they can do that. And so that is where XP is great in that they are multi-tier and they can work on all the different levels. And so we feel that it's just a really good option to kind of come in and cover everything. And so since they already offer the solution, we can come in and we can say, this is all games, whether you are coming in, you're running a painting event, and you want to say, hey, I'm running and hosting this event. Somebody can say, hey, what is going on in my community? And they have a locator in there where what's going on in my local area, and they will be able to find it, you know, just through the XP app. And that is something that we don't have the bandwidth to be able to do that, but since they have that ability to have that, that's something that we would never be able to, you know, provide, at least in a timely fashion. So, you know, having a partner like that is really beneficial to the community. So it's very exciting, and hopefully it will really help grow the community, and, you know, just kind of look forward to seeing what happens.
Cool. All right, I think we'll go to the next slide. All right, Malifaux campaign mode. You'll see the cover of the new book there. That book will include both campaign and co-op mode. Those are separate things, although you will have the ability to combine them. It has a strong focus on creativity and community building. What I mean by that is, whenever you design a mode like this, a campaign mode where you can adjust your crew, you get to modify it, you get to sort of build your leader in the way that you want. As a designer, you have to choose between keeping a really tight rein on those choices that the players can make, and make sure that they're really hyper-balanced, versus giving them the sort of creative freedom to build whatever they want. And instead of taking half measure, we lean hard into the creative. We feel that Battlefront 4th Edition is the balanced, competitive mode of the game normally. Campaign mode is all about building your own crew, building your own narrative, like making cool, fun, interesting choices. And you can definitely make some broken concepts, but there are also groups that will really enjoy that. So we've just leaned into it. So it has a really large flexibility in crew building. You actually build your own master. I'll get into that more in another slide here. But as they advance with experience, you'll get to personalize it more and more. You'll get new equipment, you'll suffer injuries. So if models are killed in the game, you have to flip on a table, they might come away with a permanent injury. After the game, you might find some exciting new equipment. And so it's just this really flexible, creative game mode. If you played second edition, you played the Shifting Loyalties campaign, or you played some version of it that people have converted to third or even fourth, this will feel fairly familiar, but the really big advancement we made here was the building your own leader from scratch. Next slide. All right, so when you build your crew, you actually choose 2 separate keywords to pick from, and you combine them. So, for example, you could make, I don't know, Urami and Fae, and do a haunted forest theme keyword, if you wanted to. If you wanted to just take all the monkeys, you could do Red Library for Sun Wukong, and then you could take Kojo and you could make Master Monkey King. So it gives you the freedom, whether it is just a fun, silly theme you want to make, or something really thematic, narrative, or you just really want to break something. It doesn't really matter, so long as everyone that you're playing with is on board with it. But it gives you that creative freedom to do what you want with it. And so when you choose those 2 keywords, all of those models are allied to each other. So their abilities, they get to use on each other, right? It's effectively like you are making your own keywords, like fusing 2, and making something that's really your own. And in a game with 60 keywords, you have so many options. Let's see here. You get to design your own crew card. When you first start, there are 10 basic crew card abilities that, just as part of the campaign, that you get to choose from, right? One is like you can spend a soul stone when you attack and you plus the damage. One is when you activate, you can spend a soul stone to move 3. It's pretty basic stuff, right? But as you advance your crew, you'll actually get to choose crew card abilities that are on the existing crew cards of those keywords that you chose, right? So you start at sort of the more basic level and you build your way up, combining 2 different crew cards. Actually, technically 4 crew cards, because each keyword has 2, right? So you have lots and lots of options to go and expand and make your own. The next one.
Next wall.
You get to design your own leader. So there are 5 leader archetypes. Is that a focus? Can you see that?
It's a little blurry.
All right, try to keystone it. See if you can focus that a little bit more. Because if you are so inclined to take a picture of this and share it on the internet, we don't care.
Already on it.
But I'll let somebody else handle it. But you get to choose between one of 5 archetypes. You can see 3 of them there. Those archetypes determine your base stats, your defense, your willpower, your speed. It also determines which actions and abilities you can choose. And if you're reading it there, you can actually choose them from any model in the 2 keywords that you chose, but the different archetypes will put different limits on how you choose that model. So for example, the heavy hitter archetype lets you choose 1 attack action from a model that costs 10 or below, which means you're probably choosing the cost 10 model, right? So you can take a great sword or something like that that's really powerful, and you get one of that action's triggers, which you don't normally get under strike. On the talented individual, right, you get a lower cost for your attack and for your tactical action, but you get to choose 2 abilities. And combining 2 abilities, any 2 abilities in the game, essentially, can give you so many combinations, right? And this is what I'm talking about when I said we really wanted to lean into giving you the creativity to build your own leader, to build your own model, to build your own crew, to tell your own story. You can also see like how you could probably rate it. But I know that there are people out there that will love it. Like I built the most powerful thing ever. It gets 7 attacks a turn. Well, mine can do 10 damage with 20, you know. And so there are people out there who will enjoy doing that. And so long as you are matching yourself to what your friends are doing, I think that this will be something that communities will really enjoy to do together for years to come. Because the amount of combinations, the amount of choices, the amount of models to build is almost infinite. Just with the number of abilities that are already in our game, right? And these are just 3 of them. Another one of the archetypes, you actually get to start with one of the specific pieces of equipment that comes with the game, right? So there's a couple more that you haven't seen yet. You also get to choose whether or not your leader is a strategist or a bruiser. That will determine how they gain new experience, at least one of the ways. There's 3 ways to gain experience. You gain an experience just for playing the game. You gain an experience if you lose, because oftentimes losing is a much better feature than winning. It's also a little bit of a catch mechanic. And you get gain experience for doing a specific thing. If you're a strategist, you get experience for laying down scheme markers. If you are interactive. If you are a bruiser, you get experience by killing things, right? You can only get 1 bonus experience from this per game. We'll have a little bit more on that later. And you can also choose the base size and the height of your model to go with maybe like your giant monkey king, type 4, or you know, you could do lost Malifaux child that becomes a leader, you probably have one. It lets you convert and build the model that you want. Next slide. Okay, aftermath. This is, there's 2 big parts of the campaign. There's the initial crew building phase, where you build your leader, build your crew, and then there's the aftermath phase. After the game, what happened? What script did you get? What equipment did you buy? Who was injured? That's what the aftermath phase handles at the end of the game. There are 6 phases, and they are draw aftermath hand. Now, in Malifaux, I don't know if you guys have heard of this, we use cards instead of dice. So, when we're determining what happened to your models, we're flipping cards usually on a table. And the aftermath hand is what you use to cheat, right? So just like anything else in Malifaux, we always have some control over what happens to you. You know, for those of you who are maybe old school Wartime players, you probably remember rolling your injuries and your model dies. There's nothing you can do about it. In our campaign system, you can cheat that with your aftermath hand. And actually, specifically, your leader gets 1 sort of second chance in miraculous recovery if your leader is totally killed. You mark a box, and they're not killed. They made a miraculous recovery, but if it happens again, then they're. So it really sucks that you can lose your leader. But if you don't like the equipment you put, you get to cheat that with your aftermath hand. And you draw aftermath cards usually by completing schemes or maybe other specific campaign objectives. Payday is script. You get script for doing well. You get +1 script for winning the game, because winning should definitely have a reward. You also get script based on the BP that you score. Barter. Barter is a flip of where you flip on a chart to see what equipment is available. Because depending on where you are in Malifaux, if you're in Bayou versus in Malifaux City, different traders might have different equipment available. It also makes it more fun when you find that unique equipment that you can look for. You spend that script you just got, you get that. Advanced leader, you mark off your leader's experience on a chart, which I believe I have on another slide here, so don't get too much. Mark off their experience, you'll get some new, I mentioned those actions don't come with triggers, which is that one exception. This is how you get new triggers. You get new actions. how you can get rid of those injuries, right? Because if you get this really big 9-10 solstice model you're really excited about that has an injury, like let's say you got a melee leader, somebody's injury says they can't charge, that's pretty detrimental. The back alley doctor can take those injuries off, but if you put poorly, they might injure your model more. That's the least. After that is permanent injuries. I think I've talked enough about that. You flip on a table, you see what happens to your model. Now, we try to make things pretty interesting. There are definitely some results where you flip, every time a model is killed, it's not always, right? So there are some results that show full recovery, nothing happens. If you flip a 13, the model is annihilated. It's removed from your crew entirely, right? But remember, you can cheat that. And then also some of them we try to make really interesting. Like one is blackmail, where the opposing player can annihilate the injury, remove it from your model, to basically evade that model, right? So partway through the game, they decide, you know what, I'm going to use your injury against you. I'm going to call on my blackmail. That model's going to take an action. That's one of the more interesting ways we use injuries, but there's also the classic ways. Reducing wounds, reducing speed, reducing signature actions, all sorts of bad stuff can happen. Everyone's very excited for that. Next one. Equipment. There's all sorts of equipment to customize your crew. There's actually 82 unique pieces of equipment before we even get into some of the more specialized stuff. Basically, during that larva phase, you flip a card, and you look at both the number of the card and the suit. So, for example, the one of rams and tomes gives you 3 pieces of equipment to choose. The 2 of rams and tomes gives you 3 different pieces of equipment. And so, by doing that, you don't always know which to get. You get excited about what you flip. And if you flip a red joker, you flip on the Those Who Thirst chart. These are like legendary items. They're really rare and hard to get. And you can attach this equipment to any model in your crew at the start of the game. So if you decide that your shotgun would be better given to the psychotic baby cave instead of, Pandora, you can do that. Actually, we're using Pandora because making your own master. But you get my point. You get to customize your crew each game with that. Next slide. Okay, advanced leader. Can you guys see this okay?
Which side?
The patron with both of them. All right, let's try to adjust that a little bit. It'd be cool if you guys could actually see that clearly. A lot of this doesn't matter because I'm just going to talk about it anyway. But the actual excerpts from the book, if you guys are able to actually maybe get a picture or whatever, that is pretty cool. Right now, it's a moving picture. This is a challenge. All right, we'll figure it out. So, as you advance your leader, you go on over right there. Right there. You advance your leader on this chart here, and with each experience, you mark off the box, and you'll get things depending on what is in that box. I think it's a little hard to see, but in these first 2 boxes, it's number 1, number 2, that's a 3, and that'll sort of determine what you get. Further up you get, the more different stuff you get. So that 1 means you get to flip on any chart that is in tier 1. Those are generally triggers, right? So the first couple of experience points, you're usually getting new triggers on your attacks or your tactical actions. Tier 2 is actions and abilities. You get to add new actions and abilities. Now, unlike building your leader, these are chosen from set charts. They're not chosen from any model in the game, right? But they are the basic charts. So, lots of different options for the actions and abilities and triggers. Tier 3, you can choose to gain a totem. And there are several different totems to choose from. You actually determine randomly, but again, you can cheat it. And then, once you have a totem, any advancements you get on your leader, you can choose to instead put onto your totem and start building up that totem along with your leader. There's also a few summoning actions in tier 3. So you want to make a summoner, that's how you do that. And tier 4 is the new crew card build, right? that's when you go into those crew cards from existing keywords and choose the new abilities or actions there and add them to your crew. Now, it is important to note that you can always choose to go lower. So if you get a tier 2 advancement, you can choose tier 1. If you get a tier 4 advancement, you can choose anything. You don't have to add to your crew card. If you really want that new ability on your master, if it's really feeling light on triggers, you can go that way. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we covered everything. Did everyone get a good look at that page? All right. Go ahead, next slide. Okay. Killed and annihilated. I was going to talk about injuries, but I feel like I've talked about injuries a lot. I think they're pretty self-explanatory. After the game, every model that was killed, you flip on that chart. Not every result gives you a permanent injury, but most do. And a 13, your model is annihilated, removed from your arsenal entirely. But again, you can cheat it. It is worth noting that if your model already has 2 injuries and gets a 3rd, it will then automatically be annihilated. So if you're going into that injury phase with 2 injuries, you probably want to go see back alley doctors. Always a good idea. Please do that. Next slide. Okay, cooperative annihilation. This is the second part of the book. So this is a pretty hefty book in terms of design. There's 2 completely new parts. Now, when you play cooperative, you can integrate the campaign rules if you so choose, but you can also just flip the scenario and play that scenario as well. The name, as the name suggests, since I'm sure everyone's familiar with co-op games, you play cooperative. You play against non-player, we call them NP models, and they're controlled by the game itself, not players. It's very groundbreaking for games by any means, but it is totally unique alpha, and we're very excited about it. There's 20 different kinds of NP models, different stat cards for them. There are 13 different scenarios. You'll notice that in the deck of cards, there's 13 numbers. So if you wanted to play one randomly, you flip a card on a table. This book is full of tables. Each scenario is split into multiple sections. So you'll play, if you're familiar with Vision Song, you're sort of familiar with this, you play section 1, you'll get to a point where something triggers, and then you read section 2. So the game, that way if it's your first time playing that scenario, like maybe a boss pops out where you weren't expecting one, or the terms of the deal change, and suddenly you're doing something slightly different than you were before, it allows for that element of surprise. Now, if you have already played the scenario before, I think that they do have a lot of replayability still, but it does make that first experience all the better, or if you're introducing new friends who haven't played before, it's a surprise to them. We felt it was a pretty good way to do it. Crews are smaller than a normal Games of Malifaux. You're not using a 50 soulstone crew. You're usually not using the leader unless you're playing campaign mode. Average is probably, there are some that are 24 soulstones, there are some that are 36 soulstones, it really depends. And if you're playing with like 3 people, this is split between. So I played a lot of games where I had just 10 soulstones, so I just took like Kayla, or 10 soulstone model, or 2 5 soulstone models, and that's all I had. But I actually really enjoyed that experience myself. It was something very different than a normal game of Malifaux. You're trying to use your limited resources well. You're trying to use those 2 models, because that's it. If they die, you're out. And you're talking to your friends, solving the puzzle, like, all right, we take up this sentry here, because he's going to wake up those guys over there. If we miss, then we might be in for it. It creates sort of tense, interesting, puzzle-solving environment. And I noticed that the games actually played a lot faster than that. We were playing them in an hour pretty easily. So it was just a really good change of pace. And as I said, it does have integration with the campaign. The way that works is you just play the scenarios in order. You start with one action, there's an intro, you go all the way through them, and you do the normal, like, if the mob dies, you look for injuries, it has rules for how you get script, and you can advance that leader. That's the one mode where you can use a leader, because your campaign leaders do start off relatively weak. That's so that you can build them up. Next slide. Okay. You guys are okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Again, free to take pictures. So, NP models, the non-player models. You can use any model in your collection. right? We wrote 20 models, but we try to make them generic enough that you can use what you want. So what you see there is a scrapper, sort of a basic melee meter. So that could be a witchling thrall, right? That could be a young Nephilim. It doesn't matter. It depends on how you want to theme your own cooperative game, what you have in your collection. And there will usually be, I mean, pretty much always be more than one type of enemy model. So maybe your scrappers are witchling thralls, and the Magrites are all witchling handlers. And you're doing a themed cooperative game where you're going in and stealing something from the witch hunters, right? Let's see here. Each model explains how it targets the player's models. You see that down on the bottom there. Often they'll target the most wounded models, sometimes the ones with the lowest defense, and it tells you sort of little flow charts from left to right how they're targeting, right? So they'll have an optimal range in which they target those models. They choose one in line of sight, they look at their little flow chart there, and then they target, right? And it's possible for a model to target a player model with a walk action, walk towards it, walk past the wall, realize that there's an even closer model line of sight, and then with its second action, shoot that wall, right? So they can sort of change up what they're doing depending on what they've already done. It's pretty intuitive once you've done it a few times. So you're during the enemy model's turn, you flip a card to determine their behavior. You see that in the middle part there. Spoilers. All right, so you flip a card here. So you can see on a 1 to 2, it'll take a prepare action, then it will heal. It'll use its stinging jeer, which you see up there, and do a walk, right? You flip a 3 to 9, it walks, it does smashing strikes, and then it walks again, etc. So you flip one card for the entire roll, and all of your scrappers in the game will take that same action. That makes it flow a lot smoother, so you're not flipping one card for each and every model. But you do flip a different card for each roll. So if you have scrappers and gunslingers and the boss, you flip one card for each of those. That way you can't totally predict what they do, but just looking at the card, you have a pretty good idea. Scrappers are probably going to come up to you and try to hit you. Attacking and defending against the non-player models is done basically like a TN check, right? In a 1 alpha. Pretty simple. And we can also modify these models with tokens, elite tokens. And you see the red markings there on the card are the elite modifications. It's extra health. It can do some extra damage. And there's also idle tokens, where a model won't activate if it has an idle token and will lose it if you attack it or get too close. Next slide. All right. There are 5 enemy types. They are support, brawler, boss, firepower, and obstructor. You can get a pretty good idea of what they're trying to do based on those names. For example, scrappers are a type of brawler, right? There's more than one type of brawler. There's also the amalgamated beasts, which in my opinion are a lot more deadly than the scrappers. Having different roles for each enemy type allows you to further tailor your experience. This book is all about giving you the tools to do what you want to do with Malifaux. Build your own cooperative scenarios. Change up the scenarios we have. Build your own proofs of the campaign. Like, really get creative and do some cool, fun stuff. So if you play a scenario that we wrote and decide, wow, that was way too easy, what were they thinking? Swap out the scrappers with the amalgamated beasts, they're both brawlers, and it will get a lot harder, right? Okay, that's the example I gave. We also have a bunch of different bosses that you can swap out. And yeah, so support will support. They'll buff your random models, they'll heal them, move them. Brawlers will attack you. Firepower will stand there and shoot you. And the obstructors make scoring your objectives hard. So they could stand your strategy markers, make it so you can't score that kind of stuff. The boss, next one. Okay. Each scenario has its own detailed set of page. It'll tell you where the enemy is deployed. It'll also tell you how many soul stones you have to hire. It'll tell you what your maximum hand size is. It'll tell you what the size of the board is, but what is really left up to you is the terrain. And as you will know, as miniature gamers, that can have a drastic effect on your game. But we really wanted to leave it open to what you have at home, kinds of boards you can build, that kind of stuff. So that is entirely up to you. But since some do change the size of the board, all of the ones that we have that change the size of the board make it smaller and or larger. So you can always go play on the map you have, just mark off the section that you're not using. So for example, there's one that's played like in a collapsing mine as it's collapsing. That one's narrow. You're running through a tunnel, trying to get out before the roof falls in. The hand size can change per scenario, and that's a big one. Hand size actually works really cool with cooperative mode if you have more than one person, because there's sort of a draft at the start of each turn. Let's say the hand size is, what's the hand size is? 5. So your hand size is 5, and you have 3 players, right? One person, you play cards, one person chooses the first card, next person chooses the next card, etc. And that forces you to really talk about, like, I have this trigger, I really need to mask this turn. Oh no, the only mask is in the 13, well, I really need the 13, and kind of plan out your turn before you start, which is an element of the game that I have personally really enjoyed, and I hope that you will enjoy as well. Although we do have an optional rule to just play with a shared hand, because I think that some people will prefer that, but I like that. I think that's a really unique tension to it, otherwise. And also cooperative mode is about cooperating, talking, planning out what you're going to do. All right, next slide. All right. The scenario will also tell you the enemy activation order, right? So this one's telling you the obstructor goes first, then the brawlers, then the firepower, right? Because that can make a big difference depending on which one goes first. One might run up to you and kill a model, causing the firepower model to not have any force damage. There are special rules to each scenario. Special rules are pretty self-explanatory. They'll change what happens in that scenario, like that collapsing mine scenario. There's rules for how the roof falls out, right? There's different objectives for each scenario. Obviously, you're doing different things. So the train robbery one, you're trying to rob the train. The collapsing mine one, you're trying to get out. Let's see here. Challenge mode lets you tailor the difficulty to your liking. Every scenario has challenge mode. It is what it sounds like. It's a way to make the game harder. So if it's your second playthrough, or if it just looked too easy for you, or you just are really brave, want to get into it, or if you're playing a campaign and you're really advanced, play challenge mode. Make it harder for yourself. And again, there are also at least 2 halves to each scenario, creating sort of an element of surprise the first time you play through. Next slide. All right, campaign integration, and you can see that on the right side of that page there. At the end of each scenario, there will be a special call-out for how advancing your campaign crew will work, if that is what you are doing, right? Like I said, you can play these one-offs. You can just ignore that little call-out box. It works perfectly fine. But if you are playing the campaign game, it will tell you how much experience did you get, how much script did you get, did you find a new unique piece of equipment when you killed that guy? Like, that will all be covered there. And I think that I covered, yeah, I pretty much covered everything I have here. So we can go on to the next slide. All right. Just talking about the new book for now. New event models. You've seen the new Bill Aldrin. Most of you here will be getting one. Right there is an alternate Killjoy that will be available this Gen Con. They're only available through Wyrd events at this time. However, that does include the Minions to Masters program. So you don't just have to come to Adepticon or Gen Con to get them. Eventually, we will be sending them out to our network of volunteers. We have that established, so you can get them anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world. The models will be integrated into their events. So, for example, that new Killjoy that's available at Gen Con, the scenario that you play, you are trying to kill. We'll have copies of that on the table, painted. You're fighting against this model, and then at the end of it, you have the opportunity to take one home, which we think is a really narrative way to give out that price. Yeah, we'll have 3 of these models at Gen Con this year. The Bill Aldrin, the Killjoy features there, and one more that nobody's seen yet. Next slide. All right, questions?
What is that on?
Something I can't talk about yet. See?
With some of the games like
Yeah.
Whoa.
I really like the way a few things are looking. One of them is the campaign mode. And how many missions do you have worked up?
For Cooperative, we have 13 plus an intro.
13 plus an intro. Is there going to be more material in the future? I assume y'all have that plans.
Yes. There's a number of ways we can release it. I think one mode that we're definitely going to explore is just releasing it online. That's a really easy way for us to do it. But we will keep making Malco books, so I think there's definitely potential to put those scenarios in there as well.
I know with some games like Crossgrade that has that co-op or Range and Shadow Deep, the people that play always want more content, or they want a way to create their own content. These are just ideas bouncing out of my head.
Yeah, no, we would love for you to create your own content. Like I said, that's a major theme of this book, is giving you the tools to do just that. So I'm hoping to release some material. There's not like a guide for making a scenario in this book, but I do hope to release something like that in the future, at least online, if not in a future book, along with
Creating your own leaders. I saw like I think you were saying like create your own models. Are you gonna make like kits where you just like bash stuff together and get creepy with it?
Have 'em already.
There is no plan for that at this time.
Okay.
We do have the Through the Breach kits that are actually very similar to that already.
Okay, cool.
I think there's still a bit more.
I just saw it.
Are there plans to integrate the campaign stuff in the app?
We do not currently have plans to integrate the campaign into the app, but I think that is something that we will definitely be looking at. Because I can definitely see how that would be very useful to players. But, I mean, it comes down to app development and money and stuff like that, that is a bit above my head. But it's definitely something we will be talking about.
Are the cards going to be available to purchase?
Yes.
Or download or get through
There will
board
be,
game?
the question is, are the cards going to be available? There will be a deck of cards that will combine both co-op and campaign cards. And it will have all of the campaign equipment, all of the injuries, and also all of the NP models for co-op mode. And basically, anything that you need as a card will be included there, right? So for example, your leader advancements are not included there because, I mean, like I just showed you, you can choose an ability from literally any model of the game. That's too many cards. But all of the equipment, all of the injuries, and then all of the NP models. Yep.
One of my favorite things with Malifaux books, whenever they come out, is tearing through the new story
Woo!
and advances in them. Is that part of this book, or is that something that is happening in like a later book, like advancing the narrative of Malifaux?
That is part of this book. There will be 3 brand new stories. They're smaller, sort of slice of life stories. Personally, those are my favorite. But yes, there will be 3 new stories.
Since you brought up the app, would there be any possibility of integrating a feature for those of us who have first edition, second edition, third edition, and probably soon to be fourth edition models where we can actually put in an image of our models on the actual cards?
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. You should bug Company
Do we have a ballpark for the date we can expect it?
Oh, a ballpark for when it's out?
Yeah.
We hope and plan to have it before Gen Con. I can't give more specifics than that, and also, given the way shipping and, manufacturing have gone recently. I'm not going to promise anything, but the plan is sometime before January. That's what I'm working on.
Probably, let's go over this, you got into 3D printing with the other side, are you looking at bringing that to any of your other products or lines, i.e. terrain, stuff like that?
Well, we're definitely looking at terrain, right? Absolutely looking at terrain. And we already do have some amount of models available for 3D print. Like I think Kelly and Nathan, we put up Wyrd Chompy, right?
Yeah, there's a few of the STLs already in our Shopify store. They are not on My Mini Factory, and there already is some terrain in the Other Side, My Mini Factory. But as far as the widespread of things, no, is the short answer. Is it something way down the line? Possibly. But the main focus is on the Other Side right now.
Sorry really to interrupt, but kudos on just like going straight through my manufacturing instead of making you have to do your Patreon, then get this account, to do that account, to get this account, to get the stuff. That's annoying. And thank y'all for going straight through.
Does that generate more income when we do that?
I'm sorry. There's a few companies that do it. I don't know. Like y'all play a lot of games, right? Like I don't know. If you got kids, you got 4 different high schools in the apps, and
Believe it or not, everything that we do
Kudos.
is to try and simplify things. I mean, every additional step you put in between is one more thing that could go wrong, or one more person that you have to get around in order to make things happen. And so, in the case of my mini factory, they know what they're doing. They were able to put in a stable platform. They gave us an open area that we can work with. We're happy with how that has started, and we feel that that's something we can build on. Yeah, I don't know anything.
So the internet wants Gremlin multi-part kits for Through the Breach so that we can use them for this. Any possibility of that happening?
Yeah, that is another manufacturing and production thing. There's no plan for that at this time. It is an awesome idea.
Heard and noted.
There have been many comments about it.
Heard and noted.
But we can't have gremlins. You know the Bayou players. You know how they are.
So at some point in the slideshow, you mentioned that there might be multiple factions. Among multiple viewers, usually one reason one that is one for it, for artists. Is there any chance that those are also going to be in the book? I don't know if you explicitly stated that in the thing.
Those will not be in the book. The question is, will the new Arcanist and Pentagon Studios be in the book? The answer is that they will not. We are moving to a model that's the opposite of what we used in the past, where in the past we would release a book with like a year's worth of content and then slowly fill it out through the course of the year. We are going to start releasing those models and eventually compile them and put them into a book. That way you still get all the story, you get all the art, you get all the stuff to get to a book. But that way we don't create the situation where we put out a book, and by the time that the model comes out a year, maybe even more later, everyone's kind of tired of it. They decided, yeah, that model's pretty broken, it needs an errata, And so this way, the model comes out, people are excited with it, they play with the model, the rules of the model exist at the same time, and then we can compile all of those things into a book, release the bios, release the story, release the art. It's also possible to do some sort of online integration there, but won't go into specifics. I think I saw another hand over here. Oh, okay. Yeah.
What is, you guys coming out, will these be coming out at any time, or?
I can't really speak to release dates, but this year, they're planned for this year.
I know how our plans go, so.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Just you let us, any plans again?
What about Silas?
About Silas?
Yeah, what's going on with Silas?
We did announce at the start of the 4th edition beta he would be we are sticking to that. So,
Did we announce that you definitely be on that? I remember we.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When do you think the henchman or minions masters program will actually get to?
I don't, Kelly, you might have more information on that.
So we are gonna make, our announcement on that, like I said, here in the next few weeks. So the biggest hurdle that we had with that is there was absolutely 0 point in making an announcement on that before these books and cards came. You can't have a community program say, get out there and play a game without cards. So, we need to allow, stores to get this product in. We literally got everything shipped the day that we got here. So we're gonna allow a couple weeks for that to get in. I talked to a couple distributors here at the store, or here at show site, that said they haven't received the stuff yet. They're asking for a couple weeks to get things out to stores. So we're gonna take a couple weeks to allow them that privilege, get things out to stores. We will make announcements to start taking signups. Everybody will be put under NDA. Everybody will be put under code of conduct. Everybody that goes through our vetting process will have to have an XP account. And then once that happens, then it'll be ready to go. And so once that kind of falls into place, you know, then it's just a matter of going out there and starting to, you know, roll out and get those games into the community and start earning those loyalty points and getting those cashed in. And so, I would say over the next couple months, we're gonna start seeing a lot of progress in that. But I think, you know, in reality, we're gonna be into, you know, early summer before we really see a big push into that. So, we really we lost a lot of time with the books and cards being delayed.
No, that's,
So I saw on the slide that said that the Minions of Masters is gonna be vetted by you guys, completely outside of the store. Is there gonna be any contact with the retail stores? Because, I mean, as a store owner, I can tell you there are people right now that I would never allow to run that program.
Yeah, absolutely. Every store has the option of, if you don't want an event to come into your store, you have the option to say, I don't want this event to come into my store. Right, that is absolutely a thing.
But they're able to schedule events on their account.
Yes, but they still have to be hosted somewhere. So, the host of the event still has the right to say, I'm not allowing this to be hosted here. So, there is still another step. But ultimately, whoever is running, if you were the henchman and you wanted to come into my store and run it, I have to vet you as the end user first. So,
And then does the store have input on how the events run? Okay, so as a store owner, realistically, I'm probably not gonna do the Minions and Masters for my store, because I have other people for that. But I will have input into how that event, one, gets vetted, and then two, if I have a problem or issue, I can report to you all.
yeah, that's what I was talking about during the slide, is that's one of the good things about XP, is they are multi-tier. There are certain stores that I do not, you know, as a store owner, I might not want somebody from the outside coming in at all, because I am now at a level where I run all of my own OP, and I have my own employees running this. I don't want somebody coming in from the outside. So we are doing our own things. I'm getting all of my organized play through distribution or directly from the stores, and that's just how it's being handled. But you might want to go into a library and run an event, or you might want to, you know, host it someplace else. You know, so there are different options on where something can happen. So this just allows a bigger breadth of where something can happen.
Just, can retailers or employees of stores be minions?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So, specifically with regards to Minions and Masters, and like having a presence that's like an official, process with stores, is there a plan to have like a feedback system, integrated, but not specifically only for like retailers who can, contact you and like, not necessarily by like kudos, but like, obviously retailers are gonna have a whole lot of access for who they let in their stores because of their space. But is there going to be a process for if somebody is, I don't wanna say being a dick, but kind of that. Not to be negative in any way, but the first thing that I think of when I think of communities and working spaces that are completely destroyed, it's because you have a person who's really passionate and is like running things, and like turns
yes.
south and goes crazy.
That is, I mean, we have all heard of, we've all seen where a community is completely destroyed because of the passion that has gone too far.
Yeah.
You know, I have taken my toys and I'm throwing them away, yes, 100%. That is what I was saying about, there is absolutely a new code of conduct. Some stores have now, you know, whether they require volunteers that are coming in and running events, their own code of conduct. We can't require, you know, certain stores, you know, what's required at somebody else's location, that's not my problem, but as far as what Wyrd is asking, it is going to be an NDA, and it's gonna be asking you like, hey, represent yourself in the best light and represent our products in the best light. And so if we get a report that like, hey, you're being a dick, like, well, then that's gonna be the answer, and we're gonna have a conversation. And then it's gonna be, okay, we can go back to XP and ask them to remove you from the program. And so ultimately, we do have that control. It's not XP has the control. It is, we are in control of our own program. They are just running the loyalty. They have the backbone of how many points are getting added, so on and so forth. And so, yes, all of that has been taken into consideration. And so, yeah.
Can I jump on the end of that? Is there a possibility for players to complain about, so as a retailer and as a player, I've worked in stores that were a little bit adversarial to me as a henchman when I was running programs for you. Is there a possibility of an organizer basically complaining about a store to you guys? And then if so, as a retailer, what's my recourse?
I mean, then it's just a communication. I don't want to spend too much time just getting into like the back and forth about like what is going to go back and forth about this. I mean, everything just turns into a customer service communication. And so that is all, I think over the years, Wyrd has shown like everything can turn into a conversation. And we have always been very open to, here's a problem, this is how we solve it. And so, like, here's a problem, this is how we solve it. And so, we've been doing this for a super long time. And so we have learned over the years, that last time the henchman program was up, cool, this is what happened, this is how we solved it. Now we're working with a bigger partner to give us the opportunities. We have seen other communities burn by fire because of super terrible situations. So that's why we're putting some extra steps in there because of what Brandon just talked about, because of, you know, what you're kind of talking about. But also as time has gone on, I mean, just look at some of the stuff that Wizards of the Coast has just gone through, with, you know, how their community has kind of burned to the ground in certain situations. And so, like, we are literally just gonna ask people to be humans, like, treat everybody with respect, go in there, treat everybody with respect. And at the end of the day, you know, like, even when you come to this convention, everybody here is awesome. That's what I know when you go into a store and you're guiding this community and these new players, it's like, just go do that. And so that's what's gonna happen, and that's really what I would expect is gonna happen. There are some bad apples that will quickly get filtered out. So I'm not worried about that. And once something like that comes up, it's gonna be a communication. I think it's gonna be quickly squashed, and we will move on. And that's just all that's gonna happen.
And if that fails, we're trying to like comment.
In regards to the Minions Master program, there's not really much mouthful presence in the stores that are around me, but here and there I do find people who are like, oh man, I wish, would Minions to Masters also cover something like, instead of a tournament, if I wanted to do like, hey, I would like to apply to get vetted to be Minions to Masters, so I could do something like a learn to play now, so I would try to do something like that.
Yes.
Demo games, so.
Yeah, the demo games to try to build up that community.
Absolutely.
Okay, if you want to do Through the Breach, Vagrant Sign, like any of the games, period, Minions to Masters will cover the entire library. And so that's,
If you wanna go throw podcast down, by golly, go do it.
And you can be the podcast master.
What about Jetpack Unicorn?
Also, the things right here, I'd like to go and build up a Malifaux community. And
Absolutely.
just have people be like, hey, there's that other side game, can we do that too?
Yes,
Like, yes, we
yes.
can.
Absolutely.
Is this going to provide a mechanism for the players to like go to like a single source of truth, like where are the events around?
Yes,
That's-
yes.
That would be good.
So it's not only a way for the organizers to learn or earn loyalty, it will also be for the players. So the players go, they earn points for coming to events. It doesn't matter whether, you know, what game they are there for. And it's not just our company, like there are dozens of companies throughout this industry now that have signed up with XP. So they are earning loyalty for all of these different events that they are going to. And so it is just a benefit to everybody.
If you travel, for instance, you know, you go to San Francisco, you wanna look, you're gonna come into town, you go ahead and look up any events in there, there's 2 stores here, great. All right, hey, you're gonna be in Ohio the next week, you can do the same thing, that's all through there.
All right, over here.
Understanding that you cannot identify the particular date on which a particular master is released. There are folks who are like getting interested in the game as a function of like 2 of us who have started playing in the area, and they say, oh, you know, I want to see Master X, and they're not available. Is there something that I can say to them that the plan is that over the next 12, 24, 36 months, all boxes are out?
I can't really speak to exactly when all boxes will be out. But what I can say is now that we have the cards out, you can still play with 3rd edition products, right? Which there is a lot of on shelves and online and on our website, right? So if you have the 4th edition, like let's say you play Outcast, you have the Outcast cards, and then you get a box of Outcast that doesn't have 4th edition cards in it. Now you can play. Because I think that the whole 4th edition boxes is a little bit misleading because some of them are getting resculpts, right? We are starting to work on getting resculpts. A lot of them won't be, right? It's the same product. The only thing that changes is the cards. So if you have the 4th edition cards and then you can find the 3rd edition product, you're good to go. Yeah.
Yeah, talking about the boxes, where we've got gaps with like totems and unreleased models, do you know when special orders are going to start coming in for those, particularly the totems?
Yeah. When that box is released, the special order will also be available, and it will stay available for 1 year after that. Yeah.
Are we going to see any more crossover models being the other side of Malifaux?
Please.
There are none planned at this.
Some of it is Neverborn and Fearing Wars. It's kind of sad I couldn't use the fish as well.
Yeah. At this time, we don't have any planned for our next upcoming releases. I'm not going to say no, never, right? Because we might. But yeah, we don't have any plans. I think it is important for the other side to really like find its own feet and stand on its own. Because I think that part of the problem is if you even look at like the other side, 2-player Star, for example, right? Those are all Malifaux. And that does give the impression of Malifaux's the main game, right? And you could also use these models from the other side, right? And I think that we are definitely all on board with, we believe in this game, we want it to stand on its own, we want to make new, cool, unique things for this game, right? That are separate from Malifaux, and make it its own thing. That being said, they take place in the same world, right? Like, so will we do that again? Very possibly, that's a cool thing to do, but when and if we do it, I want it to be at a point where it makes sense for that character in the stories are going back and forth in the region line. I want to do it where we have a big campaign that tied TOS events to Malifaux events. They voted on this model. I want to be something that's cool, that comes from what players want and what makes sense in the narrative, and not just, yeah, this might double our sales, you know? So.
We're not against that.
Yeah.
So speaking of that 2-player starter box, are those models going to come to the My Mini Factory in addition to the original allegiances?
Yes.
Brandon?
Shot in the dark. Is there any chance that there's any plans for at least to make any sort of official online client module extension for any of the things for like to play Malifaux or Other Side online?
It's not currently being worked on, you mean like a vassal?
Like, yeah, like a vassal, it's not vassal.
Like a vassal, we are not currently working on that. Anyone else?
I mean, I can ask this question.
Brandon.
Oh, yeah.
Related to nightmare, toolboxes, there were some that are just, like, part of the crew got a nightmare boxes with it, and then the rest of the crew were just unthemed with that. Is there any plans to flesh those out? Like, Jetsa and Kiva, the two big ones that you think of?
That's always an option. There are no current plans.
Okay.
That's, I'll speak to that a little bit further. You'll find that we play around in that pool a little bit more as we're able.
Yeah.
You'll see that with the gremlins, the sow, that sort of stuff. They come off that Easter cell where we slowly fill something on out. That's not to say that we will do that for everything. But there's definitely a little bit more wiggle room there. And honestly, sometimes it's the whim of the day. Come in, somebody has a great idea, and someone goes, you know what, we're gonna do that. There's been several projects that have happened like that, so, that's not to say no, but maybe. That's a solid maybe. We can do a little bit of waffle here. There we go.
Yeah, so I'm definitely new to developments, I kind of just learned about it one year first time, but one of the points I'm very interested in is how each of these keywords or factions, they're called, how they operate, just from a thinking view. Is there any plans or intentions to add a small breakdown on your website about kind of how the faction plays and less about the board?
Is that yeah. It's not something we're currently working on, but I think it would be a great section for our website. I will say, if you're newer to this, there's a number of third-party sources. I think
So on our website.
And there's also a bigger hat.
To be fair, we are on one side.
So, yeah, on our
Yeah.
website, on our resource page, we do link several external sites that just dive into just the nitty gritty. So that is, I mean, you spent a lot of time in our booth today, and I know, when I was talking about our community kind of going out and how I'm not worried about just kind of pulling in new folks, like I know 7 or 8 different people talked to me today. And so that is, you could go to our resource page and just dive into all, like half of the people in this room have podcasts. So you could go there and or they could all talk to you right now, but you could go out and see all of the nitty gritty that they have already deep dived into for what you're looking for.
Bigger hats in the chat and they say hi.
Yeah. So, yeah, what you're looking for is already there, it's just on something else.
Yes.
If you actually signed up one of the 40 people through the Adepticon website and you were not on the wait list, I need you to get in line behind Justin.
All right, so that is the Wyrd seminar. What did everybody think? A lot of cool stuff happening. Co-op Malifaux has been like #1 on my wish list for always, pretty much since 2nd edition when Shifting Loyalties was out. I love that idea. I love that it's going to be co-op and solo. Justin's a really good developer, so I'm really optimistic about how it's going to turn out. I'm gonna probably have him come on so we can talk in much more detail about it in the near future for a formal interview. But I'm really excited about that. Being able to make your own master, really cool idea. I didn't like the fact that you would play as an existing master in other campaigns because it like breaks canon. So this is like tell your own story. I love it. What do people think? Co-op looks incredible. Yeah, I agree. Hell yes, great work moving forward. The future of Malifaux. Hell yeah. Campaign looks really fun. I know. I'm jazzed. I think it's a really interesting idea that they are doing like generic enemies that are like use whatever model you want. I think that's probably a really good idea because it avoids the issue of like you have to buy a box of models to be the enemies, or like you have to already own the crew that has the rats that you're fighting or whatever. I think that's a really cool way to do it. I would like to see them support it with models in the future. Like if they have art for a lot of the enemies, it sounds like are going to be based on Through the Breach pursuits, and a lot of those have official art. So like they could just do a model of the Scrapper. Some of that art is actually based on ways you can build the multi-part kits from Through the Breach, so it sort of exists already. But I would like to see them support it more directly. Of like, here's this specific model for this, especially the bosses. I think like if the bosses are going to be things like they should be named characters and they should be cool and they should sell them. Maybe as STLs, that'd be sick. I see a wild Brandon approaching, and I'm upset about it. What's happening right now? Brandon is crawling under the table. What's up? Where are you going? He's pushing chairs out of the way and crawling under the table behind me, and I'm not sure why.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, bosses should get minis. I agree. I think that would be cool. I think it'd be a cool opportunity to sell. Like, it could be like an official alt for another model in the game. That's also that character. Similar to the way they did some of the named characters in Through the Breach, right? I can't remember their names. Alexei Kosalov. There was an official Joss alt. There was a character from a Through the Breach adventure. That'd be cool. Hi, that Brandon. Yep, Danger Planet Brandon. He's over there. I don't know, doing Brandon things. You know how he is. No, I'm recording my face. I didn't get you on camera at all because. Do you want to say hi to the people?
Hi to the people.
A rare Nathan appearance on the internet. This is the founder of Wyrd and the man himself who brings us all the tools.
Extremely homeless today, but there we go.
Hey, listen, this is a lot. These cons are a lot of work. You gotta get it where you can get it.
Hi, everybody.
Cool show. Everybody's very excited. I swore I'd get Nathan on my YouTube channel eventually, and today was the day, and I didn't expect that. Very exciting. They don't like being on camera, so I didn't film them, but good to see you too. Yeah, I didn't expect to be doing streams for Adepticon, but it's a cool format because normally I have to bring these videos home and edit them, and it takes, I got to go back to work, so it takes a lot of time. But this is a good way to just have the stuff up, and it's cool because YouTube just keeps it up there so people can watch it after the fact. And yeah, it's good. Mark your bingo card, hell yeah. I told him years ago, we were somewhere, I forget, and I was like, I'm gonna get you on my channel one day. And he's like, you're gonna have to get me really drunk. And I was like, I will get you drunk if you need me to. It's cool. So what did everybody think? What aside from the co-op and the campaign, is everybody excited for Minions to Masters? That's another one that I've been eager for a really long time. I think we needed that to support the community. And Kelly made a really good point that like we can't launch that when there's no cards available. But now that they're available, I think that's going to be really good. It'll encourage people to sort of get out and support the community. Actually, interestingly, I was hanging out with a lot of the Corpus Belli folks yesterday at their seminar, and they have a really strong community with their war cores. That's what they call their henchmen. They support them a lot, and that keeps the scene for that game going strong for sure. Like I've seen that even in my community. So I think it's something that we've needed for Malifaux for a really long time, and I'm excited that it's coming. I'm iffy about XP. My experience with it has been fine. I think it is potentially a hurdle that people have to sign up for it and sign an NDA to just be in the program, but you should expect to have to sign an NDA to be in the program. You have to sign one for Corpse Belly to be in the program because you get some like inside information. So I don't think that's unreasonable. Corpse Belly seminars were awesome. Yeah, they were really cool. I actually did a quick interview with Hoopu today about some of the stuff that they talked about. Corpse Belly folks are they're great. Everybody that's there is really awesome. But the store hurdle they're circumventing has me a lot more excited. The store hurdle, what do you mean? The fact that you don't have to be registered through a store, is that what you're talking about? I was not part of the henchman program back in the day. I was in the community when it existed, briefly. It kind of dissolved as I was getting into the game, so I was not really part of it. Having stylists confirmed to still be coming. Yeah, I mean, like, those models exist. It had to be coming. It's just like I was hoping you would give us a hint as to when. But I think they probably have to wait until we backfill Arcanists and Thunders, and obviously this new book is going to be a big undertaking. So it seems to be only for people running events, not attendees. I would assume that too. To be in the XP network, you're the person who's like benefiting or gaining the XP to get prize support. So I assume that people are just showing up for your events don't have to. That would be crazy. Hey Jeff, do you see a lot of collaboration between these smaller companies you like to meet friends and hang out? I do actually. So it obviously depends. When I'm here, I occasionally see, you see people that are vendors going over to other booths and hanging out and talking to people and stuff. I went and talked to the folks at Relic Blade, which I'll have an interview with, and like 20 minutes later, I was at the Corvus Belly booth, and they walked up and were like talking to Jay from Arsenal and doing their thing. So apparently they've known. I don't know if they, I don't know how well they know each other, but they seem quite familiar with each other. So they definitely, it's a small world. I was talking to a developer today who I'm like, familiar with. He probably doesn't know my name, but somebody I have talked to before, and Mike Tunez from Firelock Games comes up behind me, and I hadn't seen him yet, and he said hi, and it was just a really funny moment. I was like, it's such a small industry, such a small world. I was not part of this henchman program specifically because you had to have a store back you. Right. Okay. So I remember that being the case, and I would also not do that because I don't like organizing through my local game store. It's fine, but I also play in a variety of places. It's not always at the same store, so that's I hear that. And some people play in their basement or on their kitchen table, and that should be legit. I was considering hosting a tournament in my backyard at one point. I might still do that. I think it'd be kind of fun, actually. I mean, XP's requiring store to sign up and pay in order for them to add you as an organizer. Oh, interesting. Well, that's weird. I just meant there wasn't a store. Yeah, of course, that's obviously the next problem. That's a big deal. If you don't have a store, then no option. Hello, catching stream late. Did they give more info on logistics and new releases? A bunch of new people are starting in my area but suffering lack. Yeah, they gave 2 pieces of info that I thought were pretty interesting. The first was that there's obviously going to be delay on this because things are already in progress. The process of taking a miniature from idea to product on shelf is like 18 months minimum at the best of times, is what I've been told. I obviously don't do this for a living, but it takes a long time, so there's going to be a delay on this. But one thing that they said they were going to change is that a lot of the feedback they've gotten is that people would rather see full keywords released together instead of half keywords for more keywords, right? So if they're going to release 4 boxes, the example you gave was, if they're going to release 4 boxes, instead of it being 4 different keywords, it should be 2 keywords, 2 boxes each. So that's something they're going to implement in the future, which should help people if they're getting into the game. If you want to get a full keyword, especially if you're a new player, you don't have the old models, that's one option. Another sort of sub point is that they made is that now that the cards are available, you can just go buy 3rd edition product, or if you have old stuff laying around, that stuff is still available in a lot of game stores. It's on their web store. You can buy that with the card pack and you're good to go, which is really important. The other thing they mentioned that's a little different from how they used to do, which is really interesting to me, is that it used to be they'd release a book with all the new models, and then the models would sort of slowly come out over the course of a year-ish. They're going to do that the opposite way now. So what their plan is that they're going to release models, and then at the end of the models being released, they're going to release a book with all the models in it, which is interesting. Kelly's blowing raspberries at me off camera, which seems rude. Is that mine? Thank you. You just gave it away to me.
She gave it away to me, and I'm choosing to give it away to you.
Oh, perfect. Excellent. I have a fancy old Bill Aldrin model here to check out. I'm going to see if I can open this on camera with one hand. Yeah, so Carlos Gonzalez, I think that, it may not fix the problem right now, but, they've been plagued with a variety of logistics issues. They touch on it a little bit if you rewind the thing, which obviously they don't want to not have the stuff available, right? That it's in their best interest to have the stuff available, but it's outside of their control to an extent. But that stuff should be coming, and they're working on it. I would encourage you to, if it makes sense, pick up the card pack and proxy stuff if you need to. Buy the 3rd edition boxes if that's a good solution for you. If you want more specific advice on that, go join the Discords, join my Discord, join Wyrd's Discord, and ask, what good advice is for those new players, and folks will point you in the right direction to be like cost effective. We play around at kitchen tables. Hell yeah, I play in my backyard. It's cool. Get some sun. It's just good to see smaller companies helping each other and supporting each other, as you mentioned. Small world. Yeah, it's a small world, and a lot of them do collaborations together, right? I've talked to several companies before about they'll ask me. They'll just be like, oh, what games do you play, or what do you think would be a good partnership for us, or a good thing that we should get into, and I'll tell them go talk to these people, and they do. Sometimes stuff comes out of that, which is cool. I actually talked to somebody today, and I was like, yo, make some Malifaux accessories because we need them, and you'd make good ones. And they were like, oh, I'll write that down. So, pretty interesting. So, that's the new model. I think this is Seocast, which is not my favorite. It looks fine. I haven't had the problems with Seocast that a lot of people have had, but some people aren't going to love that. Looks like 5 pieces or so on a little screw thingamajig. I really like the design of the model. I would have liked to see a different material. Oh, here's an interesting tidbit. This is a 2nd edition base because it's got room for magnets. This is gold right here. I'm keeping that. Bigger hat, 2 bigger hat. I got several shout outs. The guy that asked that question about resources and learning how to play cruise and stuff, I think he just got it. I think he was sitting here when I started the stream getting a demo from Brandon, if I recognized him. So he's brand new. He just played his first game. That's great news. Schmelz area, didn't play it anymore. Yeah, I think the stock issue is huge, and I think the cards for me personally in my area, the cards not being available has really killed it. I think we need to, obviously having Minions to Masters is going to help a lot, and the people that champion the game, like us, if you're here, you're one of those people. We'll be able to go out and evangelize for the game, but I think without the cards, it was impossible to do that, and I think hopefully this will fix that problem. Because the perception of the game is that the 4th edition is really good, but I definitely feel like less people are playing it, less people are talking about it online, less content creators are making videos about it, and I think this should fix that. And again, it's logistics. It's a nightmare. The world is a bit of a mess right now. You may have noticed. Greetings from Spain. Hey, shout out to Spain. I have a great-grandfather from Spain. Yes, the 8th Vox would be great for them. Yep. Need to get more channels broadcasting on the Vox. Yeah, I'm hoping people see my video from today. I haven't paid any attention to it because I've been too busy with Adepticon, but we had a cool chat about the stuff coming to Bigger Hat, and it's cool stuff. It's great. I love it. More resources for all of us. I might try to get a hot take from Brandon about what he thinks of these things in just a minute, and then I'll probably shut this down and go find some food. But thanks you all for coming and hanging out. This was fun. I might I don't know yet, but I might do more of these a little less formally, like without a big presentation to do. If people have questions or things they want to see or just want to hang out and shoot the shit, then maybe we can do that. Brandon.
I assume I probably because I got a plan.
Brandon. Huh?
Are you gonna get food?
Yeah.
Are you on a podcast?
I'm on a live stream.
Oh,
Do you want to be on my live stream?
I would never be.
It's not pointing that way. It's pointing at my face.
Are we doing
People keep
it?
jumping in front of the camera, and that's not how it works. Say hello to the internet. You're Rapidash on the internet?
I am. I'm rapping off on the internet. Yeah. Yep.
What are you doing here?
I'm gonna play some Malifaux, and I taught some people how to play Malifaux. I will say there was really good feedback today while I was doing the learn to play. Lots of people came up. They're like, everyone's been talking about this game Malifaux. I'm like, great. So I go out there.
I mean, they should be.
Yeah.
What did you think of the little presentation we got?
It was cool. Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Anything
there was nothing groundbreaking. But.
Anything you're especially excited about?
I really want to play the co-op. So I need to find people
Really?
that want to play co-op.
You're usually like, I need to kill people in competitive Malifaux,
But
and
now
I
get
don't.
with my friends to kill big monsters.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I thought you'd be like, that's for pussies. We're gonna play hardcore, competitive, killing each other now.
I mean, that was so like I had some experience with playing the campaign.
Okay.
And it's not my vibe.
No? Okay.
No, but I think it's gonna be good for the community. For some people.
Are you gonna sign up for Minions to Masters?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like you need to. You gotta get the word out. Although you travel a lot, so that might be tough.
A lot. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, it'll just be kind of random.
Right. It'd be like, can I sign up with 13 different stores?
So I do like the idea of being able to get XP.
Right.
So does that just mean that I can gather all of my points from all these different random tournaments, and then eventually I can have that giant Teddy statue that they had at Gen Con?
I think the idea is you have to be the organizer to get the XP. It's not just did you attend an
you
event?
don't get to do it to attend?
I think so. I don't know 100%. I think the idea is you get the XP for organizing.
Oh. I thought you got it for just attending. Like prize support. Right?
I think it's that if you organize enough events, they give you the XP to buy the prize support for your events. That's my impression. I don't know.
I thought it was that you would go to enough tournaments and that, you get 50 points for every tournament.
But you get
attend.
prize support at the tournament. They give you prizes at the tournament.
Well, I know, but instead of then getting the same prize support at every tournament, then you would just get XP points and then you could trade them in for things.
But that's not as fun because when you're at a tournament, you want to get the prizes while you're there. You want to have them in your hand, you know?
I mean, okay.
What
Some
are you?
of them are available on the internet the day afterwards.
That's
just
true.
saying.
That's true. What are you playing in the tournament? Who are you playing?
I brought Matucket.
Matucket? Okay.
Yep, that's it. I just
You
brought Ma.
you cosplayed at Matucket as
I did.
Matucket last time I saw you.
I did. I'm not cosplaying as this.
No.
It's not really like a cosplay.
No face paint.
No,
This time.
no.
There are cosplayers here. I saw a
There are a
handful.
couple,
I saw some Spartans from Halo.
Yeah, the hat's pretty big, for sure.
Yeah.
So I didn't bring that.
So Brandon from Bigger Hat says you get points for attending too. So maybe
see?
we're both right because it
See?
sounds like it's a little of both.
But,
Hey, do you know if with the XP network thing, do you get points if you attend events that you didn't organize? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I thought it was supposed to be for organizing the events.
If you get no, the Minions and Masters are going to cover players and organizers.
Oh, that's news to me.
And specifically, yeah. So hear me out. You already can attend events on it. You can already do stuff on it, and there's already been things where you can join like quests that they do, which are like these things where you like join in
That
like,
I
thing.
know, yeah.
That happened, but the intent is that this is going to not only track organized play for people who run it, like me and other TOs in the area,
Yeah.
and all over the world, but it's also going to track it for players. So when you log into an event, you'll get points for spending it, and then it's going to be like a loyalty rewards where you can spend points for specific things that you can only get through the store.
Cool.
And like, it's possible any of that changes at any point, but
Yeah.
that's how it's intended to be for pretty much everybody, because the whole deal outside of their tournament software bit that they have is that it's like a reward system, and that's what they do in all the card games that they do, all the other miniature games that they do, and their other sort of board gaming stuff.
Brendan is our friendly local tournament organizer, so that was a good question for him.
Yeah.
What did you think of the presentation? Otherwise, anything you're excited about? You gonna do co-op
yeah.
Malifaux with me?
Well, you remember the point where before we started recording and they officially revealed to everyone in the room that Collodi was coming back? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I had a good time. It was good. I want more info. I don't know. I'm excited that Silas is outcast still. I don't know that was something that I knew.
I think it was in one of the Waldo's weeklies early on. I think they did confirm that because I remember that being a thing people were talking about. But
I was really hoping for some Thunders or Outcasts, Thunders or Arcanists info.
Yeah.
And we didn't get any. Which is
Do you want to come and jump on the podcast?
I want to be on Justin's stream.
You've been the focus of my live stream the entire time, Mr. Justin Gibb. How's it going?
Pretty good, how are
Look
you?
at this. Okay. So you won't come on my live streams, but you'll come on this.
Wait, you live stream?
Yeah. Oh, wait, I'm on a live stream with you right now. I gotta go.
Yeah, you got to be
Oh,
careful
yeah, but
about
that's
Brendan.
it.
I've never live
We're running away. That's it. You ruined the party.
All right, well,
See what I put up with here?
so much for that.
We did it. We were on the thing.
Justin, woo. Okay, I'm gonna go find some
Okay,
food.
Checo, go
I'm
on.
gonna die. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. Heavily implied that Silo wasn't confirmed. Really? Huh. I remembered somebody posting. There was a conversation about that a while back, and I thought I remembered somebody posting that picture of the original Waldo's Weekly, or the second one. I don't know. It's been a long year or two. Anyway, stay tuned. More Adepticon things coming. Got a lot of interviews coming. Fun things. I'm gonna go get Justin again and talk to him probably when we get home, so that we can digest this a little bit more first and talk at length. And yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out. If you want to talk more, go join the Discord. That's where I usually am. Peace. Oh, I'm going to get foods. I'm starving. I barely eat while I'm here. It's too many things going on. All right. Good night, everybody.